1051.
It's Power 1051, home of the Breakfast Club. Angie Martinez, Not Hip Hop and R&B. It's your main man, EmEz. This is the Sunday Sit Down. This afternoon, I don't think I have a word in the vocabulary to express this man's iconicness in the community of black people. Rev Al Sharpton is in the building. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you. How have you been?
Good.
You looking good with the weight loss and all that?
Yeah, I feel good. Feel real good.
I always wanted to ask you, what brought that upon?
You know, years ago, we had a Civil Disobedience Act in Puerto Rico, island called Vieques, and where the Navy was doing bombing exercises, causing asthma and all. So I went down with some people that were protesting because they had been working with us in National Action Network. We ended up getting arrested. And the judge, to everyone's surprise, gave me 90 days in jail. So I decided to fast the first 40.
Okay.
And I lost a lot of weight. Then about 2 years later, I ran for president. I started picking all the weight back up, campaigning, eating here and eating there.
Okay.
And about 7 years ago, I said, man, I can't. I know I'm more disciplined than this because I did it in jail. So I just stopped eating meat, stopped eating sweets, stopped eating a lot of starches other than whole wheat toast, and stopped eating after 6 o'clock. And it just dropped. And I lost probably about 120 pounds.
And kept it off.
Kept it off. Well, I maintain that diet. I'm a vegetarian, don't eat after 6, only eat a couple of slices of whole wheat toast a day to keep some carbs in me for my exercise, and I'm great. I feel good.
Oh, man. Rev Al Sharpton is in the building. It's your main man, EmEz. Can we talk about the incident that happened with you and Bow Wow?
Well, I don't know about an incident, but go ahead.
I mean, the Bow Wow, the thing happened with Bow Wow was how he felt that you were foul for coming to the aid of somebody or something like that. Did you do?
I mean, I don't know why I'm foul to respond to people that say that they've been in a situation that they were discriminated against or harmed. That's what National Action Network is for. That's what we formed for. And if people have a disagreement or a problem with that, I accept that. Look, we're in a country now where you've got people like Donald Trump that are running for president.
We're going to get to that. I got to ask you about that, too.
But that's calling all of us names. So Eric Garner's family calls me, or Michael Brown's family calls me, Ferguson. We respond. And if somebody doesn't understand why we respond, they don't understand what we do. They can disagree. I don't interfere with their work, and they ought to try to understand ours. They don't have to agree with it or respect it. But I have no beef or knowledge. You'd be surprised how much of what we get in flack that I don't even know about because I'm focused on what we're doing. I keep my head to the ground. I'm fighting right now the Gardner case. I'm fighting around voting. I'm fighting around the Supreme Court selection of president. I really don't have a lot of time for detractors that really don't understand, in my opinion, what the people are calling for in the first place when they call us. They have to have somewhere to call.
Got to call somebody.
Right.
Now, how would a young person that wants to get involved and be where you are one day, how do they get involved and start?
Well, I can tell them how I did. I got involved very young. I became youth director of Operation Breadbasket, a group Dr. King started. When I was 13, I became youth director in New York the year Dr. King was killed. Reverend Jesse Jackson and Reverend William Jones, who were like a generation older than me, appointed me that. So I grew up in it. In our organization, we have a youth department. Nationally, it's headed by an 18-year-old young dynamic sister named Mary Pat Hector. In New York, they meet every Monday night, the huddle. My own daughter's involved in it. And something that I really didn't even want them to be activists, but they're activists anyway. Ashley.
So they followed in your footsteps?
They followed in their footsteps. Now, it may appear that way, but every generation has to build its own. And our young people, Kirsten Ford, the heads of New York, these are young people that are younger to me than I was to Bill Jones and Jesse, and they do it their way. I don't even want to follow my footsteps. Make your own, but we've got to continue to fight from generation to generation. So I very consciously tell them, don't imitate me, emulate the struggle, because there's a lot of work out here to do.
Oh, man. It's amazing, man. Reverend Al Sharpton is in the building. It's a Sunday Sit Down. It's your main man, EmEz. It's been said that you're Barack Obama's go-to black leader. How do you feel about that?
I mean, Barack Obama ran for president in 2007, was elected in 2008, the campaign went through. Senator at that time, Hillary Clinton, was running against him. Everybody thought because she and I had a good rapport, she was the senator here in New York where I lived and where our headquarters is, even though we're all over the country, that I would go with her. I decided not to, and I supported him. One of the things he said and she said, and everybody running that year, came to National Action Network's convention, like she and Senator Sanders are coming in 3.5 weeks to it this year, and they all said if they won, they would have the door open at the White House to hear our ideas and to deal with these issues. He won, and he kept the door open. He did what he said. I don't know if that makes you a go-to. He meets with me, he meets with other civil rights leaders. I mean, if I supported him, he made that commitment, why would people be surprised? I met with President Bush before him, who I marched on and disagreed with. I met with President Clinton before
That's got to be very awkward, though.
Yeah.
To meet with someone like Bush and to be against some of the policies and some of the things, and then the march. How would that conversation be like?
That conversation is, let me tell you why I marched and why I'm going to keep marching, because I think you're wrong. Because I think that if you're going to be in power, if you're going to be in office as a president is, you got to be mature enough and secure enough to be able to talk to people that disagree with you. And those that disagree have got to be strong enough to say inside what they say outside and not be worried about some people who don't understand it's about getting something done that may not understand it. So you get these guys. It's funny. Some guys say to me, well, Mal, don't be going to the White House too much to see Obama. We don't want you to be a sellout. Then when the same guys get invited to a meeting that we help arrange, they're there at the table.
Yes.
So, I mean, you're going to have that. I've learned that your job is get the work done. You're going to always have critics on the left or the right. Your job, I mean, if you listen to critics, you wouldn't be doing this show. So, I mean,
right.
A lot of it is envy and jealousy. You got the mic, and a lot of folks taking shots at you is because they don't have a mic. My thing is, while you have it, say something, and don't worry about those that's taking shots at you.
Man, listen, Rev Al Sharpton is in the building. It's your main man, EmEz. Did you win an award last night?
Last night I was in Ottawa, Canada. I only flew back because EmEz is on the air and invited me, so I know what my priorities are.
You peeped that though, right?
No, you
do
got
good,
that.
Reverend. I spoke.
Y'all run that. Put that on the loop in his ass.
You already know.
But I flew back to be with you. But last night I was very honored that the family of Nelson Mandela has a legacy foundation. His grandson presented me with the Mandela Legacy Award. And I really, really, really admired Nelson Mandela. I'd been to South Africa. I spent time with him here because of Reverend Y.T. Walker, who chaired our board, had introduced me to him. So I went up to accept the award last night. And the Artist Award was given to Naomi Campbell. So both of us were honored last night. And but I told him I had to get to the airport and get back down here.
Whew. Reverend Al Sharpton. So that's got to be, I mean, since you held Nelson Mandela in such high regard, that's got to feel like a way to get that award, no?
Oh, you can get some certificates, some awards, but for Nelson Mandela's grandson to give you an award, the Mandela Legacy Award, is special because I'm a freedom fighter, and Nelson Mandela was the ultimate freedom fighter. True. So there's some awards, and then there's some awards, and that was an award. That meant a whole lot to me, and I think that I will always cherish that.
Absolutely. Reverend Al Sharpton's in the building. It's the Sunday Sit Down. I think your words got misconstrued by the Daily News when you were talking about the chitlins and the watermelon for Martin Luther King.
Right.
Do you want to speak about that a little bit?
Yeah, you know what I was saying is funny. You opened this conversation talking about me losing weight. Mm-hmm. So I was telling people, look here, we're not going to have people eating. I know y'all, and I did a whole satire on what they try to stereotype us. I know y'all going to eat watermelon and chicken and all of that. They did it like I was making a thing at the people. The people in National Action Network know this is how I pick on them about let's have healthy diets and let's not play into the stereotypes. Mm-hmm. They want another way put on the front page. It was a one-day story. I've been hit before.
Yeah. It was. When I read it, I was like, that's got to be misconstrued. They're sliding this the wrong way.
I mean, at the end of the day, the audience understood it. They was laughing at it. I talk about that all the time. I get on people about how we can't act like people expect us to act, and we've got to do what is healthy. But they want to blow it up, just like they'll take things that y'all say on the air and act like when y'all are being sarcastic, y'all are being sincere. They selling papers.
Absolutely. A coworker of mine, Charlemagne the God, said something the other day about the whole Trump situation that I think was very poignant. He said, seeing a Trump sticker is now like seeing the Confederate flag in his mind. Any thoughts about that?
I think that is very, very parallel to a lot of my thoughts. And I tell you why. When you have a guy running for president that talks about, first of all, the president wasn't born. He was born in Kenya. He's other than us. Mexicans are rapists. Then he comes back, Islam, meaning all Muslims now, Islam hates America. You have Muslims that have been in the armed services, that have given their life for this country. You have Muslims that are serving in government, that are serving in law enforcement. So he's running on racism and bigotry and xenophobia. And it is something that is very clear, like the flag that represented the same divisiveness. People say to me, well, are you saying he's a racist? I'm saying it doesn't matter. He is perpetrating and representing bias and racism. Whether he believes it or not, when he lays down in bed at night, I don't know what he really feels. I know what he says, and what he says is dangerous to people that he's targeting.
You were not lying. And then the thing that happened in Chicago with them stopping the rally.
When you have a candidate, I ran for president. When you have a candidate say, I wish I'd punched the guy in the face.
That's not very presidential.
Yeah. And it's encouraging people out there. When you have a guy that stands up and says, I will pay legal expenses for people that act like this. A guy sucker punched a guy at a rally in North Carolina. He said, we're weighing or we're going to defend him. I mocked people that talk, and they try to act like, oh, were you encouraging or mocking him? He's not mocking them. He's telling them, I would punch him in the face. He even said one time, there was a time we take people out for doing these kind of protests on stretches. So what is that? And you're talking about making this man the Republican nominee to be the president of the United States? If I had said anything near that, they'd have ran me off the debate stage when I ran for president.
All right, see, now this is a point I think a lot of my listeners will feel like I feel. Isn't there a way America could stop Donald Trump from running?
One, I think the obvious way is not voting for him. But the other thing is to start telling, like you're doing, the truth to the American people. Would you accept this from other candidates? You wouldn't have let Al Sharpton do that. You wouldn't have let Barack Obama do that.
Not even a little
bit. So what are you really saying? Or is Donald Trump really expressing a lot of the hidden bigotry and bias that's there? Let's call it out. He could not resonate unless it meant something to people that really been wanting to say this. We're going to make America great again. What does that mean? Great again meaning what? We going back to the pre-1960 days? I think that it is clear he's speaking to some people that want that said, and those of us opposed to it better get organized and stop it, because he clearly is trying to push us back to the Neanderthal days of pre-1960.
Man, it's the Sunday Sit Down with Shemaine, man. EmEz. Rev Al Sharpton's in the building. Would you say this presidential election is more important than putting Barack into office?
I think it's as important. One of the things that I don't think people realize, we getting ready in November for the first time in American history to see a white succeed a black president. I don't think we've thought about it. That the fact that this is the first time we're going to see a black family move out the White House. Who's going to move in? And I'm determined. That's why we're having a big convention this August 13th through 16th, National Action Network. I'm determined that when the black family walks out, black concerns don't walk out with them. Because whoever comes in there, what are they going to do about affordable health care? What are they going to do about the criminal justice system that Obama's administration under Eric Holder and them start saying you can't keep locking up with these long sentence nonviolent criminals? Yeah. What are they going to do about all of the things that he began doing in terms of things like today, landing in Cuba and saying that we've got to open up the world and stop this nonsense? who is the next president and what are they going to do with all of the things that President Obama did? And he did it with great opposition. Could he have done more? He probably could have if he had a Congress that would have worked with him. But he certainly has done more than any president we've seen in our lifetime.
Absolutely. Now, you bring up Cuba. Barack will be the first president in ages to step on Cuban soil, correct?
Over half a century. And I think I said the convention's in August. It's in April 13th through the 16th. I learned from you. I got to promote.
Got to.
You keep promoting your show. I got to promote. April 13th through the 16th, National Action Network Convention. www.nationalactionnetwork.net. I'm looking at my man with the camera. I learned how to promote a little bit too, But
don't act like you're not in radio. We know you do radio. Come on.
Every day, all day. But I don't get your ratings, but I'm trying. Gives me something to look up to. But anyhow, back to Cuba.
I got you.
Yeah. Some of the OGs know how to stay in the game. But the Cuba move, and I went to Cuba in 2000. The Cuba move, first time an American president set foot on soil in over half a century, 90 miles from Miami. We deal with communist countries all over the world, from Russia, you name it, but we wouldn't deal with Cuba. When I went in 2000 and met with Fidel Castro, then the embargo was in. You wasn't supposed to go. You couldn't deal. And now for this man to not only change the policy, but go and bring his family, this is a historic day.
Absolutely. Shout out to Barack Obama. Rev Al Sharpton's in the building. It's the Sunday Sit Down with Shemaine, man. EmEz. Is there any views or points you want to put out to my listeners?
Well, I think that it is very important when we look at the fact that we are in, let's deal right here in New York. You're dealing with the fact that the unemployment situation nationally is down, but we are still doubly unemployed. How are we going to deal with the job situation? How are we going to deal with the housing situation? How are we going to deal with the fact that we still have prosecutors, like in the Garner case, that will, even with a video, not give us justice? That's why we must organize. That's why I'm telling people to come to our convention. We have everybody coming from Diddy to Magic Johnson.
Where's it
in workshops at the Sheraton Hotel. They can get the whole. It's free, 3 days. Hillary Clinton's going to speak. Bernie Sanders is going to speak. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net.
I'm going to find my way over there.
I'm going to look for you. I came to you.
So it's only right
I flew here to come
right?
to you.
So it's only right I
All
should
you
got
to do is get in your brand new you don't want me out your car?
Don't.
All right. I'm not going to tell nobody. I'm not going to tell nobody. But that's them bad wheels you got outside. Some bad wheel.
Rev Al
Got a guy
Sharpton
standing there watching, too, make sure nobody bothers. One day I'm going to get a Bentley, too. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say that.
We know you lying. We know you lying.
It is Sunday. I'm not supposed to lie on Sunday.
Appreciate you for coming by.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
you. Want to let the people know how to get in contact with you with emails?
Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or our toll-free number is 1-877-626-4651. And again, I don't need the young folk to think it's about me. It's about them. Follow young people, work with young people. We have a youth department, and I think it's important that we not deal with them as the young leaders that'll be the leaders of tomorrow. They're the leaders right now, and there's room for that in National Action Network.
Amen. Reverend Al,
Thank
appreciate you for coming by. It was a pleasure.
I appreciate you having me.
The Sunday Sit Down.
Another example of how easy does it. Who y'all want?